Alright, well, welcome back to the channel. Here we go. This video is going to be about two different kinds of encapsulations that people get to choose from, or certain companies do. One of them is just a basic, like a vapor barrier kind, where it just covers the ground, sealing off the vents and putting your dehumidifier down there. I'm going to show you exactly that right now, so let's get down there. Let's take a look and see. So this is, we nicknamed this the half cap, which means it's not going up the walls. It's basically a barrier on the ground, and then you get your dehumidifier in the crawl space. They seal off the vents. I mean, I know we're not going for looks, but you know, as long as it's sealed off, you're not getting any air. So I don't want to critique this and beat this one up too bad. So what happened in this case, it looks like they had an encapsulation done. And they might have put a French drain afterwards. Because you can see the French drain in there. So I don't know what came first. But what I don't like about this is the whole reason why you encapsulate a crawl space is to keep the humidity under check. You want to definitely keep the humidity low as much as possible, because you're trying to allow the dehumidifier to do its thing. So this is actually one of the points where water does come in. So this is, I'm actually looking at the front of the house, and you have a hill sloped towards this foundation right here. So you can tell that during rainy times you get some water coming in. And one of the biggest reasons why I personally don't like these half caps is because that water is still coming in through that foundation, and those bricks stay very damp, where you're creating a lot of humidity down here. And remember, you have a dehumidifier down here trying to do its job. So every time that dehumidifier senses humidity, it's going to be turning on. So another reason for a half cap, you can see how water came in through there, worked its way on top of the plastic, and then that dehumidifier, you can probably hear it right now, it turned on because it sensed that I left the crawl space door open, and a bunch of humidity probably came in, and it kicked on. Well, let's check out the dehumidifier. Hang tight, I gotta squeeze up underneath here. You can see there's not much here to squeeze. Here's my flashlight. So give me a second. Alright. Gotta do what you gotta do to get around. Alright, so they tape around the piers just like that on these half caps. You can see how unlevel this floor is, going all the way down there. They don't level these grounds at all when they're building. They just build all these piers. So when you encapsulate a crawl space, a lot of companies aren't going to level out your ground. That's a lot of work, probably charge you a lot more money. So they're going to do the best they can with trying to lay down the plastic. The plastic is a very thick liner. 10, 15 mil, 20 mil, 10 mil. You know, those, every one of those are a good liner. So here we have a Santa Fe Advance 2. I'm very familiar with this dehumidifier. They're a good unit. Put a condensation pump right here, kind of help it do its thing. Looks like the filter has been changed, and then here's a sensor right here. It's saying it's 53% humidity. It's very humid outside today. We did have a lot of rain. So it is a little icky outside. So I'm just going to kind of show you a little bit more about what this half cap looks like. Looks like they possibly might have had a plumbing issue over here. But once again, you know, when you encapsulate a house, I'm always going to recommend just get rid of this insulation. Little bits and pieces, little particles fall out. That dehumidifier sucks it up. Plus this insulation here is, some of it was already falling down. Some of it already has some mildew and funk on it. When you seal off a crawlspace, you really don't need any kind of insulation. Down here, everything should be nice and conditioned. I think I read that meter right over there where it said 53% humidity, and it also said about 63 degrees down here. That's pretty good. We're already at the beginning portions of the of June, so this is definitely there's nothing wrong with this encapsulation. I mean, as long as it's working and it's doing its thing. But a lot of homeowners have options of having it a half cap, and of course they're going to charge you extra for doing a full encapsulation, which we're going to show you here in just a little bit. I got to drive to another house that I know for a fact has a full encapsulation. But keep in mind that every crawlspace is different. This crawlspace is not going to be as nice as others or as bad as others. There are some crawlspaces that are extremely shallow, and it's so hard to crawl around and do any kind of wrapping of anything. Oh, here we go. Here's another one of my favorite victims. This is the old water heater. Rest in peace, buddy. This guy was here obviously before the encapsulation. He didn't do too good. And then you can see the new water heater sitting right over there. They did put it on some padding, kept it off the ground, but they put it in, and it also has the plastic underneath it too, so it's not going to rust out like that one did at the bottom. That one was in full contact probably with the soil. They just couldn't get this unit out of here. You have all this HVAC ductwork, condensation lines. So this guy was going to stay put right here. And in this case, I don't blame him. If I was a homeowner, I would have done the same. So there you go. We're going to head on over to the other one. I'll see you in a second. Alrighty, well, here's the other one. Look at this thing. Oh my God. This is so beautiful. Look at this. So this is a full encapsulation where they actually ran the plastic, the poly all the way up the walls. They glued right behind it. That's all glued. They ran it down. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. They wrapped the piers. HVAC system is loving it down here. Absolutely loving it. I mean, it smells absolutely so fresh. Let me get the spider web off. Obviously, it's not going to do nothing about bugs. But they also use here a Santa Fe. This one's a Santa Fe Edge 2. This company did a bang-up job on this. Look at that. It even sealed off the vents a little differently. Here in this region, you know, you have to leave an inspection window here. Should probably drop it down a little bit, maybe even right up to the bottom of that vent. But that's okay. You have to keep an inspection window so you can check for any kind of subterranean termite mud tubes. But look at this crawl space. This one has insulation still up, but look at that. You can tell just by the duct line. You can see this ductwork right here. And some of the old fungus, inactive fungi on the floor beams that this crawl space at one time probably was hurting pretty bad with some moisture issues. Yeah, look at that. Let me get this off here. Look at the fungus on the wood. Now, once again, I would have ripped out all this insulation. It's kind of black in a lot of areas, and it's just really not. I'd just get rid of it, pay the extra money, and get rid of the insulation. But wow, so this is a full, complete encapsulation. So that's the difference between the half cap and the full encapsulation. You know, when you have, when you're trying to pay, I don't know, something like this would probably run pretty close to 10 G's, right around 10 G's. If you gotta pay another couple of grand to remove this insulation, it's worth it. So they got this is a discharge line right here, and it's running right into that well. There's a sump pump. Got a little alarm system on top of it in case it overflows. Yeah, I don't know how much that works, but just wanted to show you how they just ran the discharge line. Now in this case, this crawl space goes back, I don't know, it goes back a little ways. A dehumidifier, this dehumidifier is right here in the corner of the crawl space. I would have probably put it up there in the middle. Not that I probably would have put it, I would have put it up there in the middle somewhere. Just because this machine is grabbing air removing the moisture out of the air, condensating out of the line, and blowing out dry air. So if you're going to do that, you'd have probably a better effectiveness if it was in the center of the crawl space. And again, that's my opinion. This filter is dirty, so it's probably due for it to be cleaned. But these aren't cleanable, washable. They gotta be replaced. You basically just tell the homeowner, either call the company that put this in. I don't know if they have a maintenance plan with this. If this does come with a maintenance plan, I would definitely pay the extra money. Obviously, if it's affordable, or a company can come down here and change out the filters and make sure this condensation lines, everything condensating, everything's working well. Keep an eye on everything, because if you're going to invest this kind of money into this crawl space, you might as well have somebody make sure they keep an eye on it. This is a pretty pricey machine. This machine's probably about $1,000. See, they put a support system over here. But anyway, so we had a half of encapsulation and a full one. Looks good. All right, well, we had the luxury of seeing two different kinds of encapsulations. The half cap that I showed you, and the full cap, the full encapsulation. Obviously, the full encapsulation is, wow, beautiful. Now, they were completely two different crawl spaces, two different sizes, two different companies, but for the most part, anything to help maintain that humidity in a crawl space is going to be fantastic. One of the reasons why I see problems happening is related to humidity. Obviously, rainwater getting in, if that's the case as well. But having an encapsulated home is the best thing you can do for a crawl space. Even a good vapor barrier. I mean, you don't have to necessarily invest that kind of money. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, you can put down a good liner, seal off the vents, do some things yourself, put a dehumidifier, make sure it is a commercial grade dehumidifier that covers the proper cubic footage. But for the most part, anything that's going to help with with controlling the moisture in your crawl space, that's key. So hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, send me a comment, let me know what's going on, and I appreciate you. God bless. Take care of yourselves.